Hey there, Taurus. Welcome to your reading for, this is your April bonus reading. You have the coffin and the mice. This is coming up. I'm using the Gilded Lenormand here. Lenormand is meant to be read very specifically, and Lenormand uses combinations as well. So the coffin and the mice can represent getting to some sort of ending kind of like slowly. So something is like slowly coming to an end in your life. Now, this is probably a positive ending. The coffin is always closed in the Lenormand, and the coffin kind of represents your old life. Outside the coffin is your new life. So just like the Judgment card in the tarot, the coffin kind of represents getting out of the coffin, basically getting, and you cannot make that up right there, Taurus. You get the Judgment card. So it represents getting out of your old life and getting into a new life. And I feel a lot of you definitely could be undergoing some sort of change or, kind of like I wouldn't really call it a transformation, but I would say that, you definitely are bringing something to an end. And it's probably positive, like I said, with that mice card. You start here. I'm doing a Celtic cross for these readings. And the first card is your current general energies, or how you enter into the Celtic cross, and you have the Two of Wands. Two of Wands is about taking the lead, and he is also about to step into a new life. The Two of Wands is a comfort zone card. He has his village right down here below him, and he has the whole world in his hands. And so his job is to get out into the world. I always say that the thing about the Two of Wands is that he thinks he knows how everything is going to go, basically. So even though he's just staying in his comfort zone, he thinks like, oh, if I go on this adventure, this is going to happen. But the thing about the Two of Wands is, no, he doesn't know. And so the Two of Wands says you need to embrace adventure. And don't think, like, I'm not calling you a know-it-all here, Taurus, but what I am saying is, like, don't think you know how things are going to turn out. He needs to just be open to being spontaneous. He needs to be open to building something new. He has this wand behind him, and that wand behind him stands on its own. And he's grabbing forward to this new wand. So it literally says, like, you've completed one thing, and now you're ready for the next stage of your journey. And this reading definitely says that. Your crossing energy is the Hermit card. Yeah, I think it's time for everyone to get out of Hermit mode. I don't know, it's kind of boring. Sometimes there are messages in the tarot where I'm like, okay, yes, yes, I get it. It's almost like a nagging energy, the Hermit, right, in the readings right now. And I would say that it's probably because we've had, almost 6 months of retrograde since November, nonstop retrogrades. And, retrogrades do put us in Hermit mode, plain and simple. There are times of introspection. There are times of, kind of like looking for your inner voice, your inner light, and looking for answers in general as well during times of retrograde. So I don't know, like I said, it's like, yeah, sure, pretty much everyone needs to get out into the world right now. It's a very obvious message to me, but I would, still, I still think it's important. Boring, more like nagging from the universe, I would say, and not really boring, but definitely something we should all be doing. And also, we have to stand out at this time. I say it all the time with Pluto and Aquarius. There is something that he has earned that makes him special. He has the star in his lantern, but if he doesn't go back into the world, just like the Two of Wands, if he doesn't step into the world, then he won't be able to show anyone like how special he is. Or, he won't be able to, put a skill on display or, whatever he's looking for. So I do feel it is going to be important for you to, like, shine your light bright out into the world, meaning your skills or something you're good at or, something you want. The Hermit is kind of saying to you to go and get it. You have the Two of Swords in the area of your thoughts or what's on your mind. Exactly what I said on the Two of Wands. She is thinking this or that, but really she has this new island behind her. And, I kind of look at the Two of Swords as one of those cards that basically says, this is really how life works. The Two of Swords, right? We, set out to accomplish a goal. We date a person. We, go start a business. We do whatever. And, in our heads, we think this is either going to succeed or fail. Or, maybe we have two ideas of two directions something could go. But usually in life, nothing goes according to plan. Usually things go that way, right? So she has this new island behind her here, and that new island represents another way or something different. And I always say with the Two of Swords to just stay open, be flexible, don't be too fixed, right? She's kind of like fixed on an outcome, but if she took her blindfold off and she stopped trying to protect her heart, then she would see that there's like a better option over here. And I feel that on the Two of Swords. I feel it's saying to you, Taurus, to just, be open, be flexible, be spontaneous. I think a lot of the readings for you speak of this. I'm not saying I don't think it's been an easy time for fixed signs. I will say that. It's hard for fixed signs, I think, maybe to, be spontaneous sometimes and to be open to other ways of doing things. And, the universe is still kind of like asking you to do that. So definitely a little bit of a challenge. Next in your foundation, you have the Temperance card. Temperance is patience, of course. Temperance is also alchemy. Now, I love the Temperance card in this position. This is your foundation position in the Celtic Cross. And the foundation position is your foundation for the period of time that I'm reading for. So it basically says you're the one that's in control of outcomes because temperance is turning one thing into another. It's alchemy. It says if there's an outcome that you desire with a little bit of work, a little bit of alchemy, a little bit of magic, a little bit of razzle-dazzle here, Taurus, you can create the outcome that you desire. And the Temperance card is a great card for, kind of like working with energies. He has 1 foot on land, 1 foot in water. So it basically says, you need to be living in both worlds. The kind of like the spiritual, the emotional, following your emotions. You always get these readings of following your heart. This is actually the first one that I've done for you in a while, where you don't have the Queen of Cups showing up in the reading. So again, there you go. But I think mixing both energies together, like what you feel and then grounding that in reality is what the Temperance card is kind of like asking you to do. It's funny because, again, the mice in the coffin can represent a slow ending or something slowly coming to an end. It's not bad. It just, it's saying like things take time. And the Temperance card is definitely a card of patience. So I feel like you have been patient for a long time. Next, in your past, you have this choices and indecision card. You have this envy and protection card. So maybe you've been trying to make a choice or a decision. And, the eye card, I don't really feel envy or protection here. I feel more like just too many eyes on you. So it's like maybe you've tried to make decisions in the past, but really maybe the indecision is all the eyeballs that you have in your life, all the people that are looking at you, or maybe you were afraid of judgment in the past, or like what people will think, or who will see what, or whatever the case may be. So, I kind of feel that's more the energy I feel on that card. And the good news is it's coming up in your past. In the past position is the energy that you are moving past, which is great. You also have the Magician here showing up in the past. The Magician is pointing down to the Temperance card. And I really love when the Magician is pointing at the Temperance card just in general, because they work very well together. The Magician is manifestation, the Temperance card alchemy, of course, but, to be able to manifest, like mixing two things together is a good thing. Like I'm a big fan of law of attraction, whether it's real or not, I don't care. It makes me feel better, right? And, but what I would say is I think my one problem with law of attraction is like no action. Like a lot of people think they can just think and not do anything. But the Temperance angel would be mixing the two together, thinking about what you want, making sure your thoughts are going in the right direction, and taking action. So I feel you are kind of like doing both. The other thing I will say here is that Magician, Hermit, and the Temperance card is definitely reinvention. The Magician has this snake wrapped around his waist here, and this snake is the Ouroboros, represents reinvention, and he needs to reinvent himself or change himself, right, in some way. The Hermit kind of says you've been through hermit mode. Maybe you have discovered some like traits about yourself or some things about yourself that you want to put on display. It's like these three cards together would represent like really thinking about who you want to be and then becoming that person. So I do feel that kind of like reinvention type energy going on with the Magician. Again, this is probably going to be a process. You're not going to do it overnight, but, I like it. It's good. I definitely feel it's a good thing to work towards right now. Next, you have 3 cards here in the area of the very near future. You have this flow card, which, yes, I think everybody should be getting into the flow. You have this synchronicity card and this calm card as well. So we see a lot of spiritual energy here in this reading, and it could be a really good time for you to pay attention to like signs, symbols, synchronicities, things that are happening in your life, the things that are going on. So I definitely would, pay attention to synchronicities. I think that the flow and the calm card are definitely good together. Even with the temperance card, it's kind of like a card of flow. And so the more you can be in the flow, the better. And I would just work on that. But I would also pay attention to synchronicities as well. You have the Judgment card in the very near future. I really like this as well because Judgment sometimes just gives us answers, and it's something that I have noticed for the fixed signs as well. I think Scorpio had something very similar as well, that you could be getting answers to questions that you've had for a long time. These answers are probably coming from you. You're probably answering yourself here with the Judgment card, or it could be your higher self as well that is providing these answers. But again, they finally have a direction. They're being called up out of their old life, and they need to get out of the coffin and answer the call to step into their new life. But you could finally be getting some answers kind of like from your higher self on the direction that you should be moving in your life, or the things that you should be working on, or the things that you should be doing. And so again, I would really pay attention to those synchronicities. The other thing I would say is that I do think it's true that for the most part right now, especially like mid-April forwards, the things that are going to work are just pretty much going to work. There will always be obstacles. So I always tell people, nothing is perfect. So there will always be things that come up. But the way to look at it is, if you try to do something a bunch of times and you're just hitting a brick wall, then it's probably not going to work. If you try to do something and there's like a little obstacle and then you try to overcome it and you do, then that is flow. Like there will always be obstacles, but for the most part, are you moving in the right direction? If the answer is yes, then keep going, right? If the answer is no, obviously reassess the situation, try something different, or do something else completely, right? And I kind of get that feeling here on the Judgment card for sure. Next, in your outcome row, you have this adjustments are, there you go. Can't make that up. It says adjustments are required, right? You have this meditate and contemplate, definitely a very spiritual time for you. So, tapping into your intuition, meditating so that you can tap into your intuition would be a good idea. But definitely adjustments. If like, again, two of swords, like you could be trying to think, you could be thinking about starting a business or whatever, and you could be thinking, I'm going to do this or that. But really, if a little bit of adjustment might have you going to that island behind you where you do think you're still doing the same thing, but just a little bit differently. That doesn't mean it's not working. It just means you're doing things differently. And I would be open to that like experimentation energy, that, trying different things, energy, adjustment, energy, whatever you want to call it. You have the Three of Wands. The Three of Wands is coming up in the area of the next few months. Three of Wands is very expansive. A lot of growth potential with the Three of Wands, and also a lot of adventure. Pretty much everyone gets these cards of adventure nowadays, I would say. It's like, it kind of started last year, where I was just noticing in the readings a lot of adventure cards. I think that the universe is basically saying, that variety is a spice of life, that we all need more variety in our lives. We all probably need, the thing about, I'll say this as well. The thing about Pluto and Aquarius is that we have to, like, it's inspiration, Pluto and Aquarius, but we have to go be inspired. We have to find something to inspire us in the first place. You're not going to find inspiration sitting on your couch, probably, although you could. If you never know. You might watch something on TV that inspires you to do something, but still, I would still carve out some time to like go try something new, go find a hobby, go, learn from a person, go see a movie, go do something, right? And like, it's hard for me to describe because it's just so like random. I think the energy right now, that's the best way I can describe it. It's random. It's like, yeah, I don't even know what to say because I don't even know what opportunities could pop up. But, that we should be living in the unexpected, right? Because we are in a little bit of an unexpected time where if we do, who the hell knows what will pop up? And that's like the excitement of being alive right now. And that's why I would encourage the opportunity or, getting out there, right? Next, in the area of your closest relationships, you have the Ten of Swords. I don't know. I feel like this is your life since probably like 2015 or 2016, somewhere around there. Taurus has definitely had to have some tough lessons with people, learning from people, working with people, dealing with people. And it's kind of like about, I think you've had these lessons where you try to like work with people and it doesn't work out, or you try to team up with a person on something and it doesn't work out. So you've had a lot of these moments that make you think that you can't work together with other people. And I feel like the Ten of Swords is saying, like, no, you just can't work with those types of people. And so I think I kind of get a weird feeling on the Ten of Swords. I don't think it's talking about any one thing. It, like, the energy I get off of it is more like a collective thing for you, where it's like there's a collection of relationships that you've had in your life, not just love either. I'm not even talking about love, but love could be part of it, but also friendships, and also people you've tried to team up with and things like that. And the Ten of Swords is really a blessing in disguise. He's making this symbol right here with his hands, and it's the same symbol that the Hierophant is making, which you have next in this reading, and it represents a blessing. So I would look at those relationships that kind of reflected something back to you that you didn't like or you don't like, and I would look at it and like ask yourself, I think there's a million questions you could honestly ask yourself, but I would ask yourself, like, how can I avoid that in the future? What am I really looking for? Like, instead of saying that you thought these people would be good people to spend time with or whatever, I would just be kind of processing it mentally. And maybe you spent the last 6 months processing connections, or it could be one big connection that you've processed as well. It's kind of like hard to describe, but it's almost like you have experienced the final boss of relationships, right? So what's popping into my head is, it's like maybe you had a relationship end in some way over the past like couple of years, where it was kind of like that person was a collection of all the people that you have dealt with. I don't know, it's like a very deep message here, Taurus, and there's something, I think there's something important in that to you. What's popping into my head as well is we've been talking about how it's time for Taurus to really kind of like set themselves free, but yeah, it's like you have to set yourselves free from people. And I'm not talking about literally either. What I'm talking about is, it's like those people in your life, they have maybe kind of like put certain energies on you that you think are yours, but they're not. And I don't know, very deep message on this Ten of Swords, but I would remove those energies and be like, that's not me. Because, here's the thing that I already forgot, is we have all this. It's like, who do you want to be here, Taurus? And you just need to be that person. Next, in the area of your future feelings, you have the Hierophant. I mean, pretty good. It's just saying you're feeling like yourself. The Hierophant is you. And so I feel like you're kind of feeling like yourself. The Hermit to the Hierophant is like you becoming the teacher. The Hermit needs to become the teacher. He has learned something, and this is not accurate tarot necessarily, but I believe the Hermit's next step is to come down from the mountain. He has to shine his inner light to people. It's very tempting to stay in isolation. If you've been hurt by a bunch of people in your life, it's very tempting to want to go be around people. And the Hierophant has to be the teacher. He has to show people the way. But he doesn't do this by teaching. He's not like having a bunch of people sitting down in front of him and he's like, you do this to live the perfect life. He is being an example. So, I think that you becoming an example of a good person, or whatever, that's all you need to do. You have the Page of Cups. Could be love. A lot of people have had love in these readings, which makes sense. We've had Venus retrograde. Venus will be going direct in the middle of this month, like on April 12th or whatever. So a lot of you could be, attracting love if you want it with the Page of Cups. But we don't see a ton of love here. We'll see what comes up right now, because we are going to clarify. So let's clarify this, Taurus, and let's see what we get. With the Hermit and the Two of Wands, you have the Tower. A lot of Tower energy here. As always, you get this a lot with me right here. We have the Tower to Judgment. Judgment changes the meaning of the Tower, because the two together really represent like a major revelation, or like having a major wake-up call. So a lot of you could be having like a big wake-up call at this time, or like a major revelation. Again, I consider this to be a good thing, because those two together, it's like a light bulb moment. It's like the light is turning on in your head, right? With the Two of Swords, you have the Fool. The Fool is saying, like, take that leap of faith. Do something unique. Like, I kind of feel that with that Two of Swords. It's saying, if you're having a hard time standing out or getting attention that you deserve or whatever it is, I would just, like, try something unique or try something different. Move in a new direction and just see what happens. As scary as that sounds, I think it would be very good for you. With the Temperance card, you have the King of Cups. Could be a water sign coming in for some of you if you want love. But didn't we say something about your emotions on the Temperance card? I'm pretty sure. The King of Cups has very deep emotions, and he's explored his emotions to a very deep level. And, we were talking about his foot being in the water on the Temperance card. So it's like, emotionally, what do you want out of life? You probably have the earth side figured out. I think you need the water side, the emotional side, to your life figured out with the King of Cups. And really, there is no answer here with the King of Cups because it's just like something you have to do. It's a process. You have to process things emotionally. Like, how do I feel about this? How do I feel about that? And I'm talking about everything in your life. And you have to, the good news is I feel like you have removed the eyeballs, like we said earlier with that eye card. And, maybe that's what's been holding you back is the eyeballs. What will people think? What will people say? What will people do? And, there you go. With the Magician, you have the Six of Cups. A lot of childlike energy coming up in these readings as well. I do think it's a great time to be like playful, lighthearted, carefree, just looking. It's kind of like looking for more enjoyment in life or more childlike energy to be more playful. I would definitely encourage it. The other thing is with the Magician, it's like, is there something that you thought you would be when you grew up, when you were younger? And the Six of Cups says, you probably can go be that thing right now if you try, especially with these cards that really kind of represent maybe your identity with the Magician, the Hermit, and the Temperance card. With the Judgment card, we have the Page of Swords. This is like, again, more playfulness. The Page of Swords is curious. He needs to follow his curiosity. He is childlike, so he needs to be more playful. It says, instead of taking something so seriously, like your purpose, and saying, like, with the Judgment card, oh, this idea has to be my purpose, it's like, instead, could you just play with it and just say, I'm just going to see what happens. That's the energy that I get off of this Page of Swords. With the Three of Wands, you have the Chariot. Love it, charging forward. Really, the Tower and the Judgment card could be like a big answer. I don't remember exactly what I said on that Judgment card, but I was like saying how a lot of fixed signs right now are getting these cards that basically say you're getting answers. And so a lot of you could be taking control and really charging forward with the Chariot card at this time, especially with that Three of Wands. Sometimes I feel that the Three of Wands is saying, like, what are you waiting for? But the good news is that the Chariot is not waiting. He is deciding to charge forward in a new direction. He also has no freaking clue where he is going. These two Sphinxes, they represent the mysteries of the universe, so they are guiding his chariot, but again, he doesn't know where he's going. The whole point of the card is that he is just in alignment. He has these stars up here, these moons down here. They represent as above, so below. So he has a goal in mind, and to reach that goal, he's just getting into alignment. He's, acting as if he's adopting the habits of success of the thing that he wants, and he's pretending that he already has it. And by doing that, the universe is bringing him to where he needs to go. And, that's exactly what I would do with this card. There we go. With the Ten of Swords, you have the Queen of Pentacles. I kind of feel protection energy here as well. Not like bad or anything, but I just feel like you are maybe protecting your energy or you're protecting your resources. She is a card of resourcefulness. And, I think I said this to you recently as well, because I never say this on the Queen of Pentacles, but I'm pretty sure I said it to you in your last reading, or the mid-monthly readings that I just did, I think. I said to you, or it might have been April, I can't remember, but I was saying something about multiplication. She really is a card of multiplication. She says, what are the things that you do that create a multiple result instead of, just a little result? And I kind of feel that you could be protecting your energy from other people so that you can create more like multiplication energy in your life. With the Hierophant, you have the King of Wands. Yeah, also pretty funny because we have a lot of energy moving into Aries, right? So you could be feeling more like bold and assertive over, this month, next month, May, and stuff like that. You could be feeling like more confident and more assertive. So I feel pretty good about that. I kind of feel like that's just your energy. And with here you go, with the Page of Cups, you have the Emperor. Could be attracting an Emperor into your life or whatever you prefer. Could also be you just taking the lead or taking control of a dream. The Page of Cups can just kind of represent like a dream or something that you're dreaming of creating or having in your life. And so a lot of you could be, just putting the energy in to create it, whatever it is. You have this egotism card. Having said that, I would definitely be careful of people with an ego. The thing is, it's kind of like the floodgates of love are opening once Venus goes direct. And, especially in Aries, people are going to want to start relationships. Venus will be moving from Pisces to Aries. So, it's going to take a little bit of time, but still, it'll be there before you know it. And so you could be attracting a bunch of people. Some of those people will have big egos. And this is saying avoid the ego, right? You have this power card. I feel like you are becoming more powerful. Again, there's like a lot of deep messages in this reading, and even the Emperor, if that's not a person, even if it is a person, I think you've been having these readings that have been saying that you are really bossing up now, Taurus, and it's like you're really taking control. You have two cards here. You have this detachment card. Oh, what do you know? You have this detachment card and this idealism card. Two of Swords says, and also the Page of Swords and the Three of Wands, that's all kind of, and the Hermit even, is all kind of saying to me that you need to detach from outcome. So again, there is no ideal outcome in life, and I feel like detaching from outcome is going to be very helpful. You have this flattery card. Yeah, definitely could be love. But see, these two faces are facing away from each other. These two faces are facing towards each other. I think alignment is very important for Taurus. Probably I would say for the next couple of years, really. And really, I think there's one answer. Like if you meet a person and you know that you're not in alignment with a person, the answer is no. And the answer, if you are in alignment with a person, is yes. So make sure that you really understand what you want. I think everybody's bad about this, right? We finally meet a person that we kind of like, and we just don't want to be alone. So we just say, yes, we'll be in a relationship with the person. But maybe they're not in alignment with us. And, I kind of feel this is saying, being more, I wouldn't say picky, but, being more specific about the type of people that you allow into your life. Not even just love, also other people as well. Making sure that they share the same vision is going to be important. And finally, you have this riches card. Really good. I don't think anyone is going to get rich overnight right now, but, unfortunately. But what I would say is if you're working on things that are long-term, that have long-term potential, definitely could increase your abundance. But this looks really good, Taurus. I love this, for sure. I also, strangely enough, I really like that the Queen of Cups does not show up in this reading. It feels much better. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your month.